Hi there, my name's Don Lockhart. I'm 28-year-old. I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland, and this is my first YouTube video. Um, I've been considering making a video just sort of introducing myself on YouTube for quite a while now. Um, I've been a little bit nervous about putting my thoughts to camera, but I think it might be a beneficial thing. Uh, it's This channel will just be about my views on things, and eventually, if this channel amounts to anything, I can maybe get views from yourself. Um, to discuss subjects, anything really, literally chat about anything. So I'd be completely open to debates, to discussing like current affairs, politics, history, art, geography, um, astrology, um, astronomy, just history, everything. So yeah, it's just and also I wanted to discuss my life as well, and the things that have happened to me. But I just wanted to start off with this one video just to sort of give a bit of information about who I am and what I've done, uh, and uh, and yeah, just a bit of information about myself. So I've all my life I've lived in southeast Scotland. I think I've moved around about 8 times, 8 different houses or something like that. Um, uh, yeah, I was born and currently live in Edinburgh, which is, for anyone who doesn't know out there, the capital city of Scotland. Um, I went to 4 different schools, 2 primary schools, 2 secondary schools. For Americans, that's like sort of like middle school and high school. Yeah, and I yeah, I can. I at school, I was always good, pretty good at art. I was actually put in the bottom classes for certain subjects in my initial school, especially for maths and English and stuff. But once I sort of, I'm still terrible at maths, but I'm vastly improved in English, and so on. Uh, I started to play at high school. I started in Edinburgh, well, actually in Earlston, which is a town in the Scottish borders, where I stayed in a small town called Clintmeans for a couple of years when I was a kid. It was great, living in the country when you're a kid is great. I don't personally want kids, but if I ever did, I would definitely live in the Scottish Highlands with them. That's my plan for the future, as well. Um, to live in the Highlands, they really are a special place, and hold a special place in my heart. Scotland's an amazing country. It really is. Been to, uh, I've I've travelled quite a lot myself, and there's nowhere quite like Scotland. Um, but anyway, back to the matter. Yeah, at school I learned how to play the clarinet, bassoon, flute, uh, a little bit saxophone, oboe, most woodwind instruments. I think I can play. Um, But I always thought that I was best suited to studying art because it's sort of I just was always quite decent at it, you know. And I went to Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen for 1 year. Um, Now, everybody says, you know, art is subjective, which it is subjective. You know, some people hate certain artwork. For instance, in high school, in my second last year of high school, I done higher art. Higher is like A level uh, in England. It's called higher in Scotland, and I was actually in Florida when my results came through, and I had gotten I'd got a C in art. I'd put a lot of effort into that as well, and I was expecting a A or B, and the teacher was surprised at how they had downmarked everybody, etc. And then the next year, in sixth year, um, you know, we were told because we had got C's, we might have to be put down to higher art if we couldn't keep up in advanced higher art, which is the highest level of any subject you can do in Scotland. And I must admit, I did fool about at school up until my last year, pretty much. But I took that year very seriously, and I managed to get an A1, 87% in my in my in my advanced higher art, and I also managed to get a B in geography, which for me at the time for an academic subject I was astounded. You know, I was projected to get like a C or something, but I managed to get a B just, I think, and yeah, I was really pleased with that. And then I went on to college for a year. Met some interesting people there. I'll chat about that later, maybe. Um, and after that, I went on to university at, as I said, Robert Gordon University. They have an art school there called uh, Grey School of Art. But really, the whole life, like it was like half of the course was like life drawing this first year at the uni, and the other half was projects. And you know, I was really homesick. Now, Scotland isn't the biggest country in the world. You know, it's like oh, it really isn't. You know, it's a little bit bigger than Denmark. It's a small country. You know, you can drive from the south of the country to the north of the country on the biggest roads, the major sort of routes, within like 8 hours. So yeah, but we have a lot of like islands and stuff here. You know, it's very mountainous, and it's mountainous. It's usually quite cold, and it's a beautiful country. It really is. I've travelled quite a lot, and I've never been to anywhere like Scotland. It holds a special place in my very being. You know, I'm very passionate about my home country. So if if anyone has any questions about Scotland, I'm fairly versed in all the information about it, and its geography, its history, and its relations in the world, its politics, etc. But yeah, so I now you have to see I'm not from a rich family. I'm from a working class background. You know, I wasn't even. I probably wouldn't have even been able to go to university uh, if it hadn't been for um, the way that you get into university in Scotland. Not the way you get in, but how it's paid for. For in Scotland, um, it's universally free education for everybody. A lot of the universities, therefore, taken a hefty amount of foreign non-EU students and English students, because now it's a strange idea. We're now in Scotland. The universities get about £1,800 per year per student, and then the if, strangely enough, the English, if they come to university in Scotland, they still have to pay £9,000 a year at most universities, especially the very top universities like St Andrews and Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen and the likes, and yeah, but we're no longer in Europe. I mean, Scotland voted for 64% to remain in Europe, but because we only have 5.6 million people here, it's a small country, it's a small population, whereas England, who we are in a political union with, has 56 million people. So a lot of the time they're, even though we have a Scottish Parliament and it's run by a nationalist party, not the bad racist nationalism, the sort of civic nationalism. I used to be a vehement supporter of them. We had an independence referendum in 2014. Unfortunately, we lost that by 5% of the vote, but it's likely that there'll be another one at some point soon. I'm quite passionate about independence for Scotland. I'd say out of any country in the world, we are ready to go. We are absolutely ready to go. And we have been in a political union with England since the year 1707, which is insane. The whole reason for that is another matter, but again, I will probably make a video on that at some point, if this goes well. Or if it doesn't, I'll just make videos and hope that people enjoy them. But yeah, so in Scotland, yeah, so you're now we're not in the EU anymore, obviously, but because of England, I don't particularly like Europe. I'm not as great a fan. It has its benefits, but I think it's mainly in my opinions have changed vastly. I used to be on the not far left, but I used to be very much sort of left leaning in politics, but through ignoring mainstream media outlets and these sort of fear mongering platforms of just lying journalists, I've traded them in for for YouTubers, and not just that, watching what for instance the BBC and Sky News have to say, and then watching what Fox News or Infowars or whatever has to say, and then I think the truth always lies somewhere in between the two, and I think and facts are the most important thing to me. Facts and statistics. I am in no way a leftist anymore, which poses a lot of problems for my political allegiances in a sense in Scotland. I can always cover that in a future video, but yeah. So I was saying that Scotland has a way. It's a strange way now, but if we were still in Europe, which obviously we were since the 1978 or something like that, we had to. You're allowed to discriminate within your own sovereign union, so the Scottish government is allowed to make English students pay full price, £9,000 a year to get into most universities here, and some are a bit less, but most are about 9,000 a year for English students. But you're not allowed to discriminate within countries in the European Union. So we have a lot of European students coming to Scotland because they get their university fees paid for them. You do have to pay these fees back, but not until you're earning over like 24,000 a year or something like that. So it's about $30,000 a year or something like that. Yeah, so I was quite lucky to get the chance to go to university, actually, and but yeah, it really was quite terrible. I met a few friends there, one really good friend that really sort of is a strange story, and I might make a video about that again at some point. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was really a strange environment. It was interesting, but the tutors were their. I mean, their art was terrible. It really was. Mainly modern art and stuff, and I believe that my main tutor's apparent artwork was photos or videos or something of dogs sitting next to bins. So when you're getting taught by these kind of people, you're a bit dubious as to why you're listening to them or what they can provide you informationally, because you know they're not exactly great at what they do. And I had a sort of realization one day when we were painting this big structure we had made out of cardboard, and I had actually done a not bad rendition of this strange sort of thing that we had to do. This sounds so sounds so weird. It was weird. And then they came in one day when we were all sitting with our big huge A0 paper on the ground, and they smashed it up to pieces and then told us to paint that instead, so that so the painting's always shifting and changing or whatever, some sort of arty twat stuff. Anyway, and yeah, so I was just over it, and then they got an inflatable shark balloon that could be remote controlled, and they flew it around the room and told us to draw it in at different places where we see it, and I just thought, this is shocking. So I went for a big long walk on an incredible beach up in Aberdeen that's over the Bridge of Don, and there's two main rivers in Aberdeen, the Dee and the Don, both flow from the Cairngorms National Park out into the North Sea, and I just went for a walk up this beach. It's about 26 miles long or something like that. It's incredible, and just had a real sort of soul dig. A real chat with myself, and I called my mum and sort of told her it wasn't really working out, and I don't see where it's going to lead and all that kind of stuff, and she agreed as well. The accommodation there was £525 a month for a room with an ensuite, which was actually lucky because most people didn't get an ensuite. Our building had en suites in each room, but we had to share a living room and kitchen. But and there was seven different rooms, and each room was considered a flat. But it was more like just 7 ensuite rooms within one flat, and that was £525 a month. My student loans were £680 a month, which was just insane because I was left with about £124 to last me a month after that, and like I couldn't afford to live on that, at uni, and buying all your materials in for art, etc. And yeah, and so I eventually had to get help with my rent, which university actually did provide, which was good of them. And I decided to leave the course just um, before the end of the year, because all my life drawing, I was told by my tutor that my life drawing had passed, but I had failed on the project side of things because I was really deeply uninspired at the time. It, when I was sat in front of a person, or objects to draw, in allocated time, my creative juices were going and stuff. But when you were left on your own to do projects, when I was very homesick, and I'm rather socially awkward too. I've suffered for many years, a long time now, with like major depressive disorder, and anxiety issues. And yeah, I was only 19 at the time. People, like, I mean, some people would say that's quite a, you know, you're an adult and you are an adult at 19. But I've always been, my parents. My mum didn't have me till she was 36, and my dad was 39 and 11 months when I was born. So, they were older, and they both had two sons to previous marriages. Um, so I have four brothers, two on my mum's side and two on my dad's side, and their ages range between 44 and 49, I think. I'm 28, but one of my brothers, on my mum's side, Paul, he passed away last year. He was 40 years old, so that's had a hard effect on me and my family. A very, very, as you can imagine. My mum always used to say to me as a child that she can't imagine anything worse than losing a child. And yeah, she always used to say that, and it happened to her. And I know everybody says that their mum's the best person in the world and stuff like that, but my mum literally at one point looked after three sons and a husband. So she's my absolute role model. She's my everything. So I love her unconditionally. She's just amazing. Such a strong woman. It's mind blowing how strong she is. And yeah, we had a lot of. This is maybe going a little bit off topic, but I'm just sort of chatting about just things that have happened in my life. So I'll make videos on specific subjects and whatnot in the future. But yeah, I'm just sort of rambling on about my life. And yeah, we had quite a lot of deaths in the family actually. My mum's mum, my gran, Violet, she passed away, and in 2014, and she had been ill for a while. And on the day of her funeral, her sister Kathleen passed away, and then within a couple of weeks, her brother George passed away. all within a month of each other, and they had two other siblings. My mum's auntie Rita, my auntie Margaret, and her my grand's brother. Uh, oh, that's bad. Dougie, Douglas, passed away in a few years before that and stuff. But that was a real blow to, our family and stuff. And then for my brother to die, it's a young age. Then was quite was very very horrible. I'm sure you can understand that. But I also wanted to sort of discuss positions I was in. I've not had I'm I've never been a person who has gone through loads of friends or whatever. I make a few friends and I keep them. Like I I devote myself to friendships and stuff. I've only ever went out with one girl, because I've only ever met one girl, which I thought was who I thought was really great. Turned out not so much. I've been let down a couple of times by people. I'm sure most people can relate to that, but so I've always had a really tight group of friends. Not even a group really. I tend to like one-on-one sort of friendships. Where I'll have two or three friends, but they don't know each other. I just know them separately, and whatnot. Yes, and so yeah, been flung aside a couple of times, and whatnot, and you just sort of have to get on with it and whatnot afterwards. But it does always leave you wondering why, especially when you are especially when you're such a. I class myself as being a solid friend, a solid person, to be friends with, and whatnot. But yeah, I've just had to sort of get on with it, and that way. I actually believe that one of my friends stopped talking to. Not really stopped talking to me, but stopped coming round because I actually moved into a smaller house, and they couldn't stay, so then I weren't much of a friend. But also as well, when I sort of developed a more conservative line of thinking, this person, regardless of which facts I presented him with, would kind of always just be in denial and just listen to these, just say, he claimed that he actually didn't know much about politics at all and stuff, and I was like, well, okay, then let me put both sides to you of this story and see what you think. This was sort of all about when Donald Trump was being elected and stuff, and back then, I was a vehement Clinton supporter. Donald Trump, after all, was a racist and etc. Which I firmly believe that. Not firmly believe, he definitely isn't. And I just don't think this guy could ever accept. He actually once said to me that black people couldn't be racist to white people, which was very strange. I don't think he was as smart as you thought he was, But I done a lot. I done quite a bit of sort of traveling. I've been all around the world. not all around the world. What we're talking about? I've been all around Europe. I think I've been to about 12-ish countries, maybe 11 outside of the UK, and yeah, I love traveling. I really love traveling in Scotland as well. We are a stunning country. The people here are really friendly overall. You know, we have some of the most unpopulated lands in Europe. We have I mean, Scotland. People always put Scotland and England in a basket together because we've got the smaller population, but we have the resources, and we have, you know, England wants us to remain in the Union for a reason. You know, um, they they yeah. So Scotland is a left-leaning country overall, I must say. But you know, so Scotland's left-leaning, England's right-leaning. Historically, we have got similar ties. Scotland's a Celtic and in the far north, Virgin or Nordic country. It's actually like 3 o'clock in the morning here, and that's my mum going to the toilet. So I just need to wait a sec. Anyway, yeah, Scotland and England are very different countries. They are politically different, geographically speaking, very different. Scotland is very mountainous in the south and in the north, mainly in the north. We have over 800 islands. Sorry, that was just my mum going to the toilet. Yeah, we're very mountainous. We have over 800 islands. We have over 23,000 lochs. We we have abundant natural resources which are unfortunately swallowed up by England, who squander them, which is another reason why I'm a supporter of independence. And yeah, also there's a cool fact that there's more fresh water in Loch Ness than there is in all the lakes in England combined, which I think is a cool fact. You know, we don't really get droughts in Scotland. England's an overpopulated country, though. To be fair, uh, Scotland only has 5.6 million people. England has 56 million people. So I think you can see how that doesn't really work out fair for Scotland in any way. But yeah, that's most of what I've got to say for it just now. Again, if this video's been really crap, then I apologise. But if you hit subscribe and persevere with me, I have so many ideas for content for this channel, things that I'm passionate about across the board, and yeah, I look forward to making more videos. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you all again very soon. If you would subscribe, that would be a massive help. And so, sorry, thank you very much. Have a good night.